Very good evening once again, and a very warm welcome to RTV News with me, Ethan Tashabia. Now, we have quite a relatively happy day. Amavu picked their first points in AFCON qualifiers. That's a good one, considering the fact that they were playing outside of their country. But let's kick it off with the stories that we have currently. Since the beginning of this week, there have been a surge in COVID-19 infections in Rwanda. And while at least 2 prison facilities have recorded about 40 cases in 2 days, on Wednesday, November 11, 7 people tested positive COVID-19 in Nyarugenge prison, or 13 more inmates from Rwamagana prison, commonly known as Nsinda, tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday. That was November 9th. 4 of them have succumbed to the virus, according to the Ministry of Health. In a phone interview, the Commissioner General of Rwanda Correctional Services, George Rwigamba, explains the precautionary measures that have been put in place to contain the spread of the virus among prison communities, and gives us the current situation in prisons.
Yeah, the situation is that in the 2 prison facilities, that is Rwamagana and Nyarugenge,
Yes.
It was identified that we have got some cases, some cases of COVID-19, and the medical teams from RBC and the Minister of Health have swung into action, and they are trying to control the situation, and the cases that were identified are being attended to.
Yes.
They have been put in isolation, and they are they are under treatment. And so the measures are as usual, but there is no saturation from outside the facilities that are coming in, and there are no saturation from the facilities that are going out. While we are having other services being given online, like the courts are continuing, but the court services are being taken online. Those who are in prison are attending the courts
online. So if you could give us the situation in terms of the numbers of infections currently, how many are they?
The numbers we are having the 16 in Rwamagana yesterday, and the about 20 in Nyarugenge prison. How
many are in critical condition?
In critical condition, I can't be able to tell you now. The medical services are the ones who have got all the numbers, and those who are being attended to in critical condition. That is RBC and Ministry, they can tell you.
What has been the cause of the surge in new infections? Yet we know the visitors are not allowed to visit inmates currently.
The cause I cannot be able to tell you now, because I don't know this. I don't know how it came in.
Yes.
With the test, we first saw the cases coming. We reported them to those medical teams of RBC, and the RBC went to test, and the tests were carried out to everybody. The prisoners and the prison staff were tested. This when we identified those cases. So I don't know. I cannot know the cause. I don't know the source of or the carrier who carried them into the prison facilities now.
As we conclude, what else should we know about this situation, the development?
The development is that those who are identified are being taken care of. And the measures are becoming a bit more strict, and to those who are coming in and those coming out, to better control the spread of the COVID-19 in the prisons.
The Commissioner General of Rwanda Correctional Services, CPG, George Rwigamba, explaining the current situation in prison facilities following the surge in new COVID-19 infections. Moving on, the Institute of Certified Public Accounts of Rwanda, IPAR, a Rwandan professional accountancy organization, has been unanimously voted to be a full member of the International Federation of the Accountants. Earlier today, my colleague Emmanuel Ruziga Masantula spoke to the CEO of IPAR, Amin Mira Mago, to expound more on what this development means to Rwanda's accountants.
We are actually very excited to have been voted as full members of IFAC. It's a journey that we don't take light. It's a journey that has been a long one. We have had to really transform and put in place a lot of things, and now it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for our members and even for the country. Given that Rwanda wants to become an international finance center, it means that we have to have an accountancy profession that is up to date, that has all the people with the right skills within the country, that can really be able to spur the growth that is required. It gives us voting rights on the IFAC Council, which we did not have. It means that we can be able to nominate our people directly to go on these standard-setting bodies, and who can be able to even participate in the different committees and different programs. It means also that we can also be able to add our voice to the global accountancy fraternity. It also means that our members are also easily recognized across various jurisdictions, because they believe that our institute is at par with the rest of the institutes across the globe. Because when you look at the IFAC membership is not a membership, it's not just, you don't just jump to full membership. You start as an affiliate, then you move in to become an associate, and then you move in to become a full member. And of course, depending on which category, then you have different rights. So now, to have achieved that topmost membership category, I think it's something that we need to be proud of as a country. And of course, it's also going to help us to strategize and be able to support the Rwanda MICE strategy that is there by vying for these international events, so that we can also contribute in one way or the other to the development of our country. When I look back, when the institute, when the law establishing the institute was promulgated way back in 2008, and then the initial members who registered around 2009, there were around 98. But now we can say that we have reached around 700 members. Even the student, we started with around 165 students when we were starting the CP and CAT programs. This was way back in 2012. But currently we are boasting around 4,500 students. So you can really see that there's been tremendous growth. But we can still improve, because when you look at the gap that exists, when you look at an economy like Rwanda, we need around 10,000 certified public accountants and certified accounting technicians. So for the public sector, they need around 7,000 accounting technicians and certified public accountants, whereas in the private sector, they need around 3,000. So you can see that there's still a very big gap that needs to be filled, but it's a job that can be done. And one of the things that we are looking at to be able to close that gap is to increase the number of sittings for the students, aligning the ICPA program, encouraging universities to align their programs, universities and the TVETs to align their programs to the ICPA CP and CAT program, so that the students who complete in the different degree and diploma programs, they can also simultaneously be able to become certified accounting technicians and certified public accountants, and so that we can be able to create that critical mass of people that is required.
That is Aman Miramago, the CEO of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda, explaining what it means for Rwanda to be a full member of the International Federation of Accountants. Moving on, while the government encourages schools to teach using technology as one of the ways to control the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, some teachers say that computers and internet scarcity remains a challenge to the program. Innocent Mugabo has the details.
The COVID-19 pandemic has once again shown that technology has played a major role in the lives of the world's population. In Rwanda, the pandemic found the country with enough invested in technology, especially the broadband network stretching to all parts of the country. However, how technology is used has shown that there is need for changes to be made. Some citizens say that if at all the technology in place was being utilized to its expectation, schools would not have closed for 8 months, causing a dead year for students. During the decision to reopen schools, the government pointed out that technology should be strengthened in the context of education. Even though it is like that, some schools, especially those at the lower level, that is to say at the age of 9 and 12, using technology still looks like a dream. At Kagugu Secondary School, a computer classroom with only 10 computers was set up to offer computer lessons. A school that has more than 7,000 students, all in need of these classes. At Gahanga Secondary School, 75 teachers share 4 computers. 10 computers are not enough compared to the number of students that are supposed to use them. If at least we happen to get any support to do with technology equipment, that is when all the problems to do with teaching the lesson will be solved. The government cannot give out computers to every teacher due to lack of capacity, but at least it can be done by offering them a no-interest loan. The other thing is that we have a problem of the slow internet whenever used by a bigger number of people at the same time. Internet prices are still high and all children are not equal, so that should be looked into also. Besides the problem of high internet prices, making it difficult for companies with limited resources to use technology, the Ministry of Education says that it held talks with internet providers to see how students' internet prices can be reduced. The COVID-19 pandemic impacted the government's collaboration with people. That is why we also decided that we should intervene and help teachers and students to be able to access affordable internet. Dr. Niza Mwitira Christine, head of the Department of ICT in Rwanda Education Board RAIB, says that 55% of high schools are already accessing the internet. Only that the department is set to distribute technology equipment where they haven't reached, including about 50 new high schools. Now that all teachers and students have reached e-learning, teaching students using technology will be made easier. Technology equipment is also increasing, whereby among those we shall give out include 80 tablets for each school and teachers' computers to some schools, not forgetting the new 50 high schools. The government of Rwanda has long been pushing for more computers in schools and computer classrooms, but the COVID-19 pandemic made it visible that technology should also be strengthened at the family level to make it possible for students to attend home classes whenever necessary. Innocent Mugabo, RTV News.
Thank you, Innocent, for that report. Now, in other news, Rwandans believe that every Rwandan in every home family setup have a role to play in the fight against sexual violence. This is one of the achievements of a local initiative named Every Voice Counts project. Every voice is a valuable. A project that has been operating for 5 years in 5 different districts in Thousand Province, namely Kamonyi, Muhanga, Ruhango, Nyanza, and Huye districts. In highlighting the achievements of this project in a collaboration with Profame Twese Hamwe, a non-profit organization, and the Care International. It has reached out to more than 30,000 people who have benefited greatly from this initiative.
We learned about the importance of a woman in the growth of a family through being confident when it comes to sharing ideas with your husband that can influence growth in your family. After learning that every voice has a value, I realized that an idea brought by my wife should also be considered, since they all benefit the family.
Jean d'Arc Kanakuze, the chairperson of the Profane Twese Hamwe, urges that the principle of equality and complementarity, when properly taught, helps in building stable families. Many thanks for your company tonight, and remember to take care of yourselves, stay safe and stay well, wash your hands as many times as possible, sanitize where you can, and practice social distancing while in public. I'm Ethan Tashabia. Bye for now.